Hey friends, Stevie B here. How's it going? Happy Monday. So super hectic week ahead of me, trying to push a few different projects to the finishing line and didn't have a ton of extra time to make and edit videos for the channel this week, but I'm trying my best to maintain a regular upload schedule here on YouTube. And so today I figured I'd share something really easy and fun just to get you inspired. I spent most of this afternoon working on some lo-fi, soul-infused hip-hop. I'm not even really sure I'd actually call it hip-hop. Actually, I'm thinking of adding some vocals to it. I haven't yet, but we'll see where it takes me. But what I thought you might find interesting about this track that I'm working on is that I'm using a few new toys. Two new virtual instruments, which I'm using for the brass section, and a bass guitar, and also featuring some interesting hardware. I've got a Teac reel-to-reel I just picked up over the weekend, which I'm really stoked about. I'm gonna test it out for the very first time on this video with my vintage Estey T22 amp and my Harmony Hollywood. So yeah, a whole bunch of vintage gear kicking around here. I'm gonna put it to good use. Before I dive in, please feel free to give that like button a smash for me and subscribe to the channel to stay in touch if you got some value from this video. All right, let's dive in. All right, so here we are in this session. Inspiration for this track started with the chords. I'm texturizing a loop here basically and using a patch from Serum. Sounds like this. And layering these chords up with some piano from Westwood, using the alt piano and the electric home piano. I did a video featuring some of Westwood's products a little while back. Check that out, I'll link that up above. But all together, it sounds like this. Couple of beat loops, also adding some hi-hat and cymbal layers using my Soul R&B kit from Addictive Drums, snare and sub-kick sample to thicken this up, pluck those from Splice, also a bit of percussion in the mix. What got me really fired up writing this track though, and this is gonna sound crazy because you guys know me, I love to record my own bass. There's very few instances when I'm writing like a hip hop bass track that I don't use my own bass to record. But I picked up Teletone's Retrograde Bass because the demos sounded amazing and I just had to get it. And honestly, I really can't say enough good things about Teletone. I just absolutely love everything they do. Almost all of the user presets in this library just sound amazing. And it's exactly the right bass tone for this type of track. There is, quite a few bass VSTs out there. This is hands down the best one I've ever heard. Just playing this bass line alone here. This preset I'm using has just a little bit of slap back. Perfect with the drums. With the chords. Never thought I'd use a bass virtual instrument in a track, to be honest. It kind of takes the fun away a little bit. It's not like I'm gonna get rid of my bass guitar or anything, but man, does this library sound good. I'm really stoked on it. I chopped up this arcade loop here, which is this kind of like cool little plucky guitar. And I also chopped up this string loop, which is just kind of hanging over everything. And there's quite a few textures going on here, just like one shots, some horn swells, some vocals. Yeah, so pretty vibey, but the real challenge with this track was getting the brass right. So I found this horn line from Splice, I threw it in the mix, and it kind of served as the melodic inspiration for what I did, but this sample just didn't sound right. It's just too dry, doesn't really fit the vibe. So I tried throwing some reverb on it, didn't work, but I liked the line. And I thought, you know what? Why don't I try to match the line with some of my virtual instruments and see if I could get somewhere that felt authentic. And as you guys probably already know, it's extremely difficult to pull this off with virtual brass. I've never really been satisfied with any brass VST. But I know from listening to my buddy Alex's work, he often writes hip-hop tracks using Logic's stock brass and makes it sound amazing. Big shout out to Alex B, longtime member of the Academy. He inspired me to look further into virtual brass. And even though I couldn't get it to sound like 100% realistic, I think I got it to a place where I'm pretty stoked on it. And in order to pull it off, I used a combination of session brass and Soundpaint. I got 2 instances of session brass, panned just slightly left and right. So one of them is a vintage section, and I'm not using key switches to change the articulations here. I'm just using a velocity trigger to change back and forth from vibrato and staccato. So vintage section in combination with this bright section. Okay, so putting the vintage section through quite a bit of saturation. Those on their own don't really cut it, but combining them with the Soundpaint trumpet legato, and by the way, I picked up Soundpaint's entire brass ensemble, trumpet, saxophone, and a trombone. Combining that legato with a saxophone legato and a trombone legato. I'm also using this other trumpet patch called Underpass Solo. Listening to everything from Soundpaint. I think my favorite patch from the Soundpaint collection is definitely this trumpet legato. Just it really sounds natural and not like perfectly tuned. I think that's really important with brass. You need that like imperfection. As soon as it's like tuned too much, it just doesn't sound real. So the Soundpaint and the session brass really complement each other in a nice way. And again, as you can see here on the left, these are all going through a group called horns. There's compression, there's sketch cassette, there's reverb, and there's RC20. So I'm really kind of messing this up and adding a lot of vintage texture to it. And that's, you know, very intentional. For the sake of the track style, I think it really works. So the session brass providing some nice attack. I'm also throwing a mellotron into the mix just to give it an extra texture layer. And you know, it's funny, I actually like what's happening here more than this sample. So let's compare these. Sample. And virtual. Two very, very different vibes. But I think when you have everything in the mix, and especially when I'm going to add vocals, the brass VST is going to sit in there nice. So yeah, curious to know what you guys think about that. Let me know if there's any brass libraries that I should know about. Truth be told, I haven't done as much research as I probably could have about, you know, what's out there. But I'm definitely stoked on this brass ensemble that I bought from Soundpaint. It was only $50 and it's very affordable. Okay, so there's only one thing missing from this track, and that is some tasty guitar. And to be honest, at the time that I'm recording this, I'm currently waiting for 2 cables to be delivered to my apartment from Amazon. I need them to connect the line out from my reel-to-reel into my interface and from my preamp into the deck. And literally as soon as they get here, I'm gonna set everything up and record my guitar to tape. So yeah, I'm gonna press pause here and wait around for these cables to show up. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. Sun's starting to go down, so I'm a little worried. All right guys, so it is many hours later. It is very late. I've been messing around for hours with this reel-to-reel, having a ton of fun. So I plugged in my ST amp and it sounds wonderful, except for it was picking up way too much noise. At first I thought it was the pickups on my guitar, but definitely the amp, and it was just too noisy to record. So what I did was load up a Logic amplifier, took the output, put it through my Teac reel-to-reel, bounced it back to Logic. 2 takes, bust left and right, just really simple funky rhythm. Sounds like this. put the drums and the bass in the mix. Everything all together sounds lovely. Awesome. I really hope you enjoyed that, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And by the way, I do much more in-depth breakdowns of all my best performing tracks in the Production Music Academy. I've got a ton of bonus content there, including over a dozen composing courses, a comprehensive mixing course, and a free intro to music licensing course, which I am relaunching within the week. So now is a great time to join the Academy. There's over 250 members in there. We got music producers from all over the world. It's a beautiful community. I'd love to have you in there. Hit that link up in the description below, or check out productionmusicacademy.com if you're interested in learning about how to write and mix music for licensing opportunities. Cool, that's it for me. Once again, thanks so much for being here. See you next time. Bye-bye.